So what is happening, people? Today I am in HENDON, Sunderland. Now, I thought I'd bring you down here because this place is known as one of the roughest places in Sunderland. And it is reported that there's 367 crimes out of 1,000 residents here. So it's 7 out of 10 on the list of dangerous places. And I'm actually from around here, from not far, literally around the corner. And I just thought I'd bring you down here because there's a lot of people who want to know what it's like. Certainly when I've spoken to people on the podcast and they're from certain areas and stuff, and they say how bad their areas are and what it's like and stuff like that. Now, the crime rate down here, obviously, the top on that list for crime is violent crimes. So I thought I'll just take you around HENDON, show you what it's all about, and we'll go on from there. I don't know if you know about this place, Victoria Gardens. Cracking little pub, lads. So this road we're coming onto now is called the Let Road. If you're from Sunderland, you'll know about this road. It's where all the shops are, and I'll take you down. The train lines down HENDON. I mean, to be fair, I couldn't have picked a better day for coming down here because the sun is out, and when the sun's out, people are out, and it's class, man. It's class. It's now better than a bit of sun in Sunderland. Over that road here, got all your shops, your tanning shops, Greg's, good old Greg's outlet, corner shops. So one thing I will say about it down here, it's just like any other high street in any other estate, really. You've got barber shops, pizza shops, corner shops, sandwich shops. I don't know what that is. What kind of shop's this, mate? What kind of shop is this?
You're a meat market.
So what do you sell? What type of stuff? No. I think it sells vapes and looked like they had like bongs and all kinds of mad stuff in there. But again, it's just stuff like this. And a lot of people, although there's a lot of crime in that in these areas, like, I mean, I feel comfortable enough walking around these places, but I'd understand why there'd be some people who, it's one of them, isn't it? I think if you're not from the area, and you hear about places like HENDON that you think, oh, it's dodgy, I didn't want to be there. But actually, if you know the area, the people are salt of the earth. There's no wrong with the place. It's like anything. There's going to be parts of anywhere that's run down. I've been all over the place and I've seen the worst places imaginable, even in the UK, never mind overseas. So to be down here is like, I just thought I'd bring you down anyway and let you see it for yourselves. I think that's the other thing as well, like when you come to these type of places, I think if anything it's just trying to being a bit streetwise and understanding, like people just didn't want hassle in general. Like when you're walking around any estate, I think the main thing is the same. People who live in any area of any part of Sunderland, there's a massive sense of community. And that's what you feel, like you even feel it in places where people call these the roughest places and that. You still feel that sense of community, people out in the streets. I mean, I'm looking around it now. Although it's quiet and stuff, I've actually been past certain streets where there's people out the front. Obviously, I'm not going to put a camera in that in the face, but they're all out in the front having a laugh, just cracking on and stuff, and it's a nice day. People should be out there. And I feel like now, because of people getting on the computers and that, young'uns, and all that, it's just a different type of world we're living in it. And when you come to these places, you see, like, it's a nice environment, nice community, and that's what it's all about. And that's what you see for me when you're in areas like Sunderland or you're in areas like HENDON that might be deemed as a council estate, it might be deemed as rough, might be deemed as having the highest crime rates. While that's still true, you've got to remember that ultimately people around here, they just didn't want to hassle. That's what it's all about. They just want a nice, quiet community. And I think that can be massive overlooked if you just look at the statistics, or if you just put in Google and put like worst area in Sunderland. You're going to get these areas. You're going to get the Southwicks, the HENDONs, the Marley Potts. You're going to get all these type of places. But I mean, you can have a look around any of these streets. This is a neighbourhood area, and we're getting like deeper down into HENDON now. So we're walking up. I don't even know what this street's called, but a random one for you is, and tell you what, I'll stay in the sun. Random one for you is, now a lot of people who have watched the podcast and they only know us from the podcast, or have tuned into any of the episodes, I actually used to knock around this area, so that's why I know where I'm going. I don't know the street names and that, but I know where I'm going. So it's like, a lot of people will think, well, how do you feel comfortable just walking about these places? But again, it's because I'm actually from the area. So because of that, that's how I feel that way. But I do understand. I mean, there was a video that I watched recently by Billy Moore, the Scouse lad. He's actually coming on the podcast, so there's a little tip for you, a little sneak peek there. But he came round here and he kind of showed it off in how run down it was, everything boarded up. And while that's true, there's a lot of places like that, it doesn't necessarily shine on the whole of the place. So if you're from Sunderland, you'll know what Hendon's like. But if you're not from Sunderland, don't just put it as the back burner, like, oh, I'm never going to go down there or out like that, because there is still, like I say, there's definitely a positive, healthy community down here as well. Obviously, there's a lot of knackers, like anywhere, but on the other side of it, there's a lot of good as well, and I think that's really important. Grey Road, so right there. Having a bit mill about. We'll go down here. So if you look at Sunderland, and people say like Hendon, or like I say, Southwick always comes up, or Pallion. There's a lot of areas where people say like they're not the nicest parts. The east end of Hendon is probably known as one of the worst parts of Hendon itself. So if you think of Hendon as a suburb, think of the east end as a pocket of that actual area. And that's probably where a lot of the crime and that does come from when you read them statistics. So Sunderland are being built up from Hendon out. So that's why there's a lot of industrial stuff here and all that type of stuff. But just depends. I suppose it depends how you look it out, doesn't it? Like, depends where you're walking and all. Like, it depends on the type of people that you'll be coming across. And I think genuinely, like anywhere, like, you just got to make do of wherever you are. And the reason I wanted to actually come on and show you around here is just because, like, adversity, again, I've talked about this a million times, recorded over 125 episodes, sat down with people who've committed murders and robberies and all that type of stuff, and I've heard all their stories, and a lot of people will always talk about it's the area that they're brought up in, it's their environment. But I also want to say as well, like, there's unbelievable people, and I think everyone will shine like the bad light on these areas, but there's unbelievable people that come out of these places, so it's not always a bad thing. So I think it's just understanding that when you're looking around, like, just be mindful that there's good people and all and everywhere you can. Doesn't just mean because you're in a rough place like everyone's scumbags, because it's not the case. And like I say, of course there's knackers, of course there's people who are going to be dodge pots and that, but there is in the nicest places in the world. I mean, I was in the last video, if you watch it, I was in Gangnam in South Korea, and I'm telling you what, you meet some characters over there. So just because it's one of the most affluent or safest places in the world doesn't mean that there's not criminal activity going on, because believe us, I definitely heard that there was. And when you're surrounded by locals and stuff and you get to understand what's happening where and stuff, you start realising that actually it's not always the roughest places that produce the worst characters. St. Ignatius Church, lovely church. Now, I didn't know if anyone knows about that there, that silver star Chinese, but I used to bash that when I was younger. So we used to all knock around one day, right? We used to go into the local park and get up to knee good with the lads and that. And when we ended up venturing down here, down the East End, we'd gone there, silver star, and it was class. The Squan. If anyone's watching this and you're from Sunderland, or you used to drink down Hendon or knock about down Hendon, who knows about the sweet curry sauce? It was like a sweet and sour sauce. Get that all out of your chips. It was $1.80, I remember, and the chips were almost burnt, but fried burnt. They were unbelievable. So here we've got local boxing club, Sunderland East End ABC. Absolutely class that. That's what we want now, more people getting into these things. And for me, again, when you've got local boxing clubs and stuff like that, it's producing unbelievable talent. And again, it's only these communities where you find these little pockets of places where people can go. But unfortunately, they seem to be reducing youth clubs, they seem to be reducing boxing clubs, all them types of places where young people can get off the streets and do something positive. But when you see places like that still gone, it's unbelievable to see, because again, I don't know if it's just me, but the northeast is definitely a hotbed of fighters. Like, this is where all the talent comes from. All the good scrappers come from around here. So it's just good, again, it's good to see. Like, I get a smile on my face. I don't even know if that place is open. I think it is. But it's one of them places it fills us with joy, because I know that, like, there's people on these streets who might go down a path of crime, but then bang, East End ABC there, they get themselves signed up, they go down there a couple of nights a week, stay out of trouble, stay off the streets, and that's what it's all about. You want to get more young people into this, because I remember if there was something I could have done when I was younger, I wish I joined a boxing club or something like that. But I just feel like they were less available then. But it's good to see that them doors are hopefully still open. It's absolute boiling hot day today. Like, I've picked a day for wearing a black hoodie, walking around the streets like a numpty. Hendon Burn Avenue will go up here. Mooch about. I think there's obviously naturally going to be people who'll turn around and say, well, what you want to do is, to say how rough it is, you want to come down on a night. Well, it doesn't really change, if I'm honest with you. Like I say, I mean, I'm older now, I'm 35, but when I was younger, I'd spend years down here. One of my best friends in the world was from down here. And unbelievable person, one of the best people I've met in my life. So again, it's like, because you know what, it's mad, right? And the reason I'm not in the video is because the amount of people who I've met and we'll discuss Sunderland, they're like, how bad's Hendon? How bad is Hendon? I'm like, it's just like any other place. Like, I didn't understand what the assumption is. Yes, there's gonna be certain like titles and stuff for a place like this, but again, it's just like a normal place, normal street. And I think that ultimately, like, you've got to just take it with a pinch of salt. Once you read something online, or you read this happened, Hendon, robbery, Hendon, or whatever, you can put, I tell you what, here's one for you. Type down any city or any area in the world. In fact, we'll use the UK. Use the UK. Any city, so put, I don't know, wherever you want, Liverpool, or type in an area of Liverpool, like Birkenhead or Bootle or whatever area it is. Didn't know me Liverpool, clearly, but if you type in any area, then you type in crime after, you're gonna find stuff. So just understand that when you're looking around these places, like look at all these as well, like bang on little cottages. I just want to show people another side to an area that people deem as rough, and I know that, I don't know how well or how much justice this video is doing it, like, but I just thought, there's no one, when I'm looking online, there's no one doing that. Everyone's just talking about how bad it is, and I mean, didn't get us wrong. There is stuff like this. Slags. I mean, building sites which clearly haven't been worked on for a lot of time. But again, you're gonna get that in any area. So it's not something that can make you say the area's worse. Do you know what I mean? In fact, tell a lie, they're actually working on it. So there you go. And just for reference as well, the ones who I've watched, Billy Moore, and this is what inspired this video, to be fair, because I just saw him, and I like Billy, I think he's class. And like I say, we've talked about getting him on the podcast and stuff, and he showed a side of it that was just really run down and stuff, which again, that is the case, but it doesn't mean it's a bad area, and I think that's the beauty about it. You want to just show both sides. I think it's really important, that, especially for the people of Sunderland as well, because I think you didn't want to just show your own place in a bad light all the time. Lest we forget, that art there was done by Frankie Styles. Look at that, what a beast of artwork. I actually know Frankie. Shout out to Frankie Styles. He's created some unbelievable bits in Hendon. See that there? That back on the map. So that's called a community corner. So again, although the place might get the term for like ran down and stuff, this is what I'm saying about community. Even in these places, you've got the boxing clubs, you've still got a place like that back on the map there, which is clearly a community area where people can go. It's having these little pockets of places for people to do things, and while there's not much else going on, you want them places now. If places like that shut, or the boxing club, especially the boxing club, if stuff like that starts shutting down, that's when crime's just gone through the roof. And this is why it's really important. Again, it's like, there's got to be more things for people to do than just commit crimes and do these things. And again, I must reiterate, a lot of the people who I've had on the podcast up till now, and if you've watched any of them, you'll know the story. It's came from a lack of opportunity. It's almost come from like a lack of, I didn't want to say boredom, but when someone feels like there's no opportunity to succeed, that's when things start going wrong. That's when things start going left. That's when people start turning to crime and doing other things to make money. This is good old Barley Moor Park. Again, I used to play in here when I was younger. Looks like these tennis courts have been done up, which is a good thing. Gives people that spot to come and play. But I'm sure there was football courts here. Well, that might have been the footy courts actually. I didn't know. Love to see it. They are fresh, them courts, like, to be fair. They're nipping, look at them. And then there's a football court over there as well. So you got the people over there playing footy, which is mint to see, which is absolutely class to see. Again, places getting used, and the more people use them, the more people need them, the more people want them. There's a reason for the council not to come round and shut these places down. Because again, I know that, especially over the last 5-10 years, it's got worse and worse for opportunities in terms of young people getting off the streets and doing something positive and not going down that. Like, you don't need to be another statistic. You didn't need to be another statistic. You don't need to be someone committing crime. You don't need to be someone, do you know what I mean? You don't need to be that way. So again, if you are watching this, you might have watched one of my previous podcasts, you might have watched a guest that I've had on, you might have been intrigued by something, and you might be going down a dodgy path in life yourself. So just understand that. Again, try and sign up your local boxing club, try and sign up to your local youth club, try and do something where you're not going to be on these streets, because there's one reason why these areas have got these bad reps, and it's because when opportunities are taken away, people resort to these things. And I see it so clearly, especially when I spoke to all these people. And then directly over the road, you've got Backhouse Park. For me, the best park in the world. And I've worked with a load of athletes here as well. I've worked with a load of clients, PTs, online coaches, fitness professionals. This park is always a place that we choose. For one, because I know the park, but secondly, it's just a class part to be in. Again, opposite Hendon. I mean, you got to think as well, when you look at it, you've got Backhouse Park here, and then over the road directly, that was Barley Moor, where I just was, over the road, behind them green garages there. Now, this park is what separates Hendon from over the other side of that park is Ashbrook. Now, Ashbrook is arguably one of the nicest areas in Sunderland as well. So, isn't it mad to think you've got apparently the worst area in Sunderland with the nicest directly opposite the other side of the park? And I think that's what's mad. But that'll be for another video. I'm going to go down the nice area in Sunderland and show you around there. But for anyone who's watched this far, shame on you for watching this far. Now, but on a serious note, if you want us to produce more videos like this again, as well as the podcast, so the podcast is still going every week, we've got some massive guests, very, very familiar faces, and you're going to love the stories. Like, unbelievable. They're already recorded, ready to go out, and you're going to love them. We're working really, really hard on getting this podcast to keep going. We've passed the 10k mark now. That was a goal of mine, to try and hit that one milestone. I want to record 100 episodes, and we did it. We've done 125 episodes, I think, now recorded, 130, something like that. And podcast's just starting now. But I wanted to give you something extra as well. I wanted to give you something else to watch, because some people don't want to just wait a week every single Monday for a podcast to go out. Some people want something midweek as well. So I want to get this out and keep these coming as long as you want to see them. I know it's a slow progression. I know that people are not going to just watch it straight away, but if you are someone who wants to see local areas, whether it's the roughest cities in the world, the roughest cities in the UK, the nicest areas, doesn't matter what it is, comment below if you want to see it. I will go around different areas, up and down the country, around the world. It doesn't matter because I'm doing it anyway. That's what I do as part of my job. So I don't mind at all if you want us to take you around these parts. I've been to a lot of places in the UK, and I've been to some absolute shitholes as well, and some unbelievable places. And I just think as well, from a lad like me from Sunderland, I never thought I'd get to see the place I've getting to see. So I thought, why not share with people? Like if I was younger now and I was watching someone from the area, so again, this is to the Sunderland people, someone from the area who was gone to all these places. I mean, I never thought I was going to end up in South Korea last week. Do you know what I mean? So if I can show you, I will. Aye. Right, into the next one.